Everyone in the hangar laughed when she stepped onto the mat. A small woman, quiet, hair tied back, wearing no insignia. No one knew that she'd trained the very men who were about to test her. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The air inside the naval training facility smelled of sweat and pride. 10 elite Navy SEALs stood in a loose circle, grinning. "Ma'am, you sure you're in the right place?" One of them joked, his voice echoing against the steel walls. She didn't reply, just tightened the strap on her glove and glanced at the instructor who'd called her in. Commander Hayes, a man who knew exactly what was about to unfold. "Begin," he said quietly. She moved before the laughter died. A blur, a step, a twist, a pivot. The first SEAL hit the mat with a thud that silenced half the room. The second lunged, faster, broader, but she ducked, redirected his momentum, and dropped him flat on his back in a single motion. Within seconds, 4 men were down. The others hesitated, stunned by the efficiency, the precision. No one laughed now. Outside the mat, a few recruits had stopped their own drills to watch. One whispered, "Who is she?" Another replied, "No idea, but Hayes is smiling." She stood centered, breathing evenly, her eyes calm. Inside, her thoughts burned like wildfire. 3 years ago, they said I wasn't fit for combat, that I'd freeze under pressure, that women didn't belong in SEAL ops. She hadn't forgotten a single word. A sudden rush. 3 came at once. The clash was thunderous. She ducked beneath one's arm, swept another's legs, caught the third mid-strike with a shoulder throw so sharp it drew gasps. 8 seconds later, they were all on the floor, groaning, disbelief etched on every face. But she wasn't angry, not anymore. Her movements weren't revenge. They were mastery, born from years in deserts, jungles and frozen coasts, training men who never knew her name. She had built warriors, then faded into the background, her legacy hidden beneath classified SEALs and quiet loyalty. Now she stood among them again, not as a ghost, but as proof. The 9th soldier hesitated. He was younger, eyes uncertain, pride cracking under the weight of what he'd just witnessed. "Ma'am, I don't want to hurt you," he said softly. She gave a faint smile. "Then don't underestimate me." They circled, slow and measured. For a moment time stretched. Then, motion exploded. His strike came high, her counter came lower. He stumbled, she pivoted, and the fight ended with him pinned to the mat, arm locked in perfect control. She released him gently and stepped back. Only one man remained, Chief Petty Officer Cruz, the strongest, the loudest, and the one who'd led the laughter. He cracked his neck and grinned. "You made your point," he said, "but let's see how long you last against me." Every eye in the hangar fixed on them. The air grew thick, the floor trembled beneath slow, deliberate footsteps. When he lunged, it was like a wave crashing, pure force. She caught it midstream, redirecting it with a grace that defied reason. Her elbow struck his balance, her shoulder rolled beneath his guard, and with a single flawless move, Cruz hit the mat hard. The sound echoed like a verdict. Silence, then applause, hesitant at first, then swelling, raw and stunned. Commander Hayes stepped forward, voice steady. "Gentlemen, meet Lieutenant Commander Avery Shaw, the instructor who trained half your predecessors." The SEALs froze. Their faces shifted from disbelief to respect, and then to something deeper, humility. Avery's gaze softened. "You weren't wrong to laugh," she said quietly. "You just didn't know what strength looks like when it doesn't shout." Later that evening, she sat alone by the pier, the sunset bleeding gold over the ocean. The same men she'd humbled were nearby, helping her pack her gear, laughing now with reverence, instead of mockery. They'd learned something far more valuable than technique. Because true power doesn't boast, it endures. And sometimes, the quietest warrior is the one who carries the loudest storm within. If you felt something in this story, tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage, justice, and the strength hidden in plain sight.